Hey everyone, I'm Gill Gross, host of Monday Match Analysis, home of the most in-depth ATP breakdowns on the internet. I want to talk about Stefanos Tsitsipas' win over Alex De Minaur in the group stage of the 2021 ATP Cup. I enjoyed the match. I thought it was good intensity, great atmosphere from the Greek crowd in Melbourne, which always, shows out, and then of course the Aussie crowd. We have not seen a lot of tennis matches with great atmosphere, but this one had it. And I enjoyed the level of play. Demon fought very hard, but ultimately an excellent win for Steph in his first match of the season. And I thought there were some interesting takeaways, some dynamics that I want to talk about in this one, starting with weight of shot. There was a stark difference between Tsitsipas and De Minaur in weight of shot off both wings, forehand to forehand, backhand to backhand. It didn't matter. And that in itself is not very surprising at all. But some of the dynamics that resulted from that fact, they were quite interesting to see. And I thought that that was the biggest advantage that Tsitsipas had in this match, and the biggest reason why he was able to come through somewhat comfortably in most moments. And we'll get to, at the end of the video, moments where Tsitsipas did not have as much success and De Minaur was able to make some progress. But ultimately, I want to start forehand to forehand. And when Stefanos was really able to club forehands to the demon forehand, whether it be cross court or inside in, when he was able to really connect, I don't think that Demon's defense was really able to handle it on a consistent basis. Now, De Minaur's running forehand is interesting because there will be a handful of times every match where he'll hit running forehands that are going to blow your mind. They're going to be really, really ultra impressive running forehands that turn defense into offense because he hits his running forehand from defensive positions quite aggressively, quite flat, not a lot of shape. That's just how he tends to hit it. So sometimes it's kind of a boom or bust scenario there. Sometimes it booms and it's really quite impressive. But on a consistent basis, I do think that Demon was having trouble finding the court when he was really rushed on the forehand side, which Tsitsipas was able to do so well also on his backhand down the line, but mostly on his forehand inside in and his cross-court forehand, which is just, it's such a heavy shot. It's so big. He was hitting so much bigger than Demon here. And what you'll see is when De Minaur doesn't have the requisite time on his forehand, he does have to abbreviate his stroke. His stroke in a more natural sense is pretty long. And when he does have to abbreviate it, it saps it of all the strength. De Minaur can sometimes hit a big ball off of his forehand, but you'll notice when that happens, it's really coming from his legs, his full body. He's throwing all of his body weight into the shot. So if you can get his body weight moving to the right, and I thought that that's what Tsitsipas was really focusing on, attacking to the Demon forehand side. If you can get Demon's body weight moving laterally, and you can take away what he can kind of put into his forehand from the legs. When you take that away, you really sap him from a lot of power. Not to mention, the higher the ball gets on Demon's forehand side, and this is true for his backhand as well, the higher it gets, the more upper body strength he loses. So Tsitsipas has one of the most spinniest balls on tour, and his ball kicks up almost like a Rafa Nadal, not quite to that level, but it really kicks up. So when you combine that fact, the fact that Demon is over his shoulder a lot of the times, he's on the run and he's hitting balls at shoulder height or above, he's got no strength there. Sometimes you'll see him hit the buggy whip forehand and finish over the same shoulder. You'll see him do things that, I'll just bring him up again. You'll see him kind of doing things that we're used to Nadal seeing. There's such a massive difference in the physical strength that Nadal has versus what De Minaur has. So when Tsitsipas was able to put De Minaur in that position, hitting really big to the deuce court, to De Minaur's deuce court, he was having so much success. One, De Minaur was having trouble defending and finding the court on a consistent basis. Two, when he was putting it in the court, he was sapped of his power. On the backhand side, you have a similar dynamic playing out. Tsitsipas hits the heavier ball, but De Minaur actually has a quite compact backhand. He keeps his hands in the pocket, so it's not as big of a problem for him to hit backhands on the run, and defensively, he's so much better on the backhand side. So it wasn't so much that Tsitsipas could hit big to De Minaur's backhand side and that, he would get errors when De Minaur was looking to defend. However, I do think that he was able to put enough pressure on Demon with the weight of shot, and I think the fact that the ball was kicking up high enough was bothering De Minaur's ability to actually attack Tsitsipas off the backhand. Backhand to backhand, I thought Tsitsipas was the much more patient and consistent player, which is also a credit to just how disciplined Steph's shot selection was on the backhand side. I was very impressed with when Tsitsipas chose to go down the line, change direction on the backhand, and when he decided to trade cross court. Thought the decision-making was spot on throughout the match, whereas De Minaur, I think, felt a little bit more pressure in the rallies because of the power discrepancy. And because he felt that pressure, he was first to pull the trigger, and he was the one making errors trying to change direction with the backhand down the line or trying to inject extra pace in the backhand that he didn't really have within himself. So that's the number one dynamic that I saw that gave Stefanos the edge first and foremost. Now I just want to end on a couple areas focusing mostly on Tsitsipas, and they were areas that I thought were less impressive. One, I'm still a little bit dubious of the backhand return. The second set was closer than the first set because De Minaur made much more first serves. In fact, both players did. And the technique still looks pretty risky and pretty inconsistent on the backhand return for Tsitsipas. So I'm still dubious about that. I think when De Minaur hit his spot on his first serve and found the Steph backhand return, I felt that he still had a lot of success there. One of the more interesting things I saw, and I don't know if this is a result of the quarantine and the unconventional kind of training schedule, but I thought Tsitsipas really struggled physically at times with the short-term cardio. If you look at the break that De Minaur got at 3-1 in the first set, Tsitsipas went up 40-15 in that game, but had to play some long rallies to do so. And then for the rest of the game, I just thought he was gassed, and he made some very uncharacteristic errors for this match. I think the same thing happened late in the second set. To me, all of the unforced errors that Tsitsipas made in this match came when he looked winded, when I thought he was really feeling it in the lungs, and that's when he made mistakes. I thought he was incredibly clean and consistent, really spot-on play, unless he was tired. It was not as much of a problem in the second set because, as I mentioned, both players served a lot better in the second set. That included Tsitsipas. There were less long rallies in the second set, so the cardio wasn't as much of an issue. But in the first set, I felt that Tsitsipas was tiring much more easily than De Minaur. And as I was watching the match, I immediately felt like the only way De Minaur was going to win is if he was really able to eat away at the lungs of Tsitsipas, perhaps drag the match out and get Stefanos tired. He just wasn't able to do that. It would have been very difficult for Demon to win this match. I didn't really see a clear path to victory for him, but I thought that was his only shot. I want to end on the serve. The first serve from Tsitsipas was very good in the second set, as I've mentioned, but I do have my eye on a couple of improvements that I'm wondering if Steph will or will not make in 2021. So I have my eye on that, and I'm still collecting data. I am not convinced that everything is completely fixed and perfect. The two things that I think need to be watched are, one, the consistency of his toss, and two, the consistency of his landing, his left foot landing. So I'll have more on this later, but I thought his landing looked better than it's been, but still not perfect, still not consistent. And I would say the same thing about the toss. So I think there might be improvements on the Tsitsipas serve, but I still think that there is still more potential in there that has been left untapped. Good start to the season for Stefanos. Tough matchup for Demon, but I thought that he looked decent as well. And this was a match that, again, as I said at the top, I thoroughly enjoyed. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter at Gill_Gross for tennis coverage throughout the season. And remember, Monday Match Analysis, weekly, Australian Open preview coming up soon. Hit the subscribe button. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.